Hello and welcome to more stories from the Warp. And today we're looking at the Maze of Tzeentch. I'm going to be pronouncing that way because both T's are silent. The Maze of Tzeentch. Tzeentch is the god of change and the master of sorcery. His realm is woven from the raw fabric of magic, threaded upon the deceit and conspiracy of all outlandish landscapes of the realm of chaos. Tzeentch's domain is the most bizarre and incomprehensible. The crystal labyrinth of Tzeentch sits upon an immense iridescent plateau. Its presence is felt across all the dynamic realms, interchanging, shifting avenues made of crystals of every colour crisscross Tzeentch's realm. Hidden pathways built from lies and schemes infiltrate the dominions of other gods, binding together the fractious realms of chaos. The crystal labyrinth has no demonic warriors. Its own illusory causeways and passages are enough of a barrier to any intruder not possessed of the strongest mind imaginable. Its glittering corridors reflect not only light, but also hope, misery, dreams, and nightmares. The crystal labyrinth does not merely reflect, but also distorts, pulling apart aspiration and purpose, turning them into insanity and despair. Driven by Tzeentch's unconscious schemes, the crystal labyrinth constantly moves and rearranges. Each curve and turn and dead end is a passing whim of the Lord of Fate. Those lost within the maze's reaches will wander for eternity, their minds shattered, their dreams broken upon the wheel of their own failed ambition. At the centre of the maze, hidden from those who have not the insane insight to find it, stands the majestic, impossible fortress. Twisted crystal spires and towers of blue and pink flame rise and burst from the fortress core. These exist for only a heartbeat, then shimmer and disappear to be replaced by new and ever more maddening architecture. Gates, windows, and beckoning doorways yawn open like hungry mouths before shutting moments later, barring all access. The nature of the realm of chaos is encapsulated within the impossible fortress. Physical space and time do not exist here. One might wander for weeks inside a chamber no larger than a thimble, or traverse leagues with a single step. Gravity shifts and changes, or disappears altogether. Light of every colour in the spectrum, and shades unknown in the real universe, springs forth from the shifting walls. For mortals, the mutating citadel is utterly impenetrable. So locked in their physical ways, men are driven insane, while their bodies might implode or be pulled apart by the forces unleashed by Tzeentch's meandering thoughts. Even demons cannot easily endure the twisted horror of the impossible fortress, and only the Lords of Change can safely navigate its corridors. These, the great demons of Tzeentch, can tread the secret paths that lead to the inner sanctum within the impossible fortress, the hidden library where Tzeentch concocts his internal plots. The hidden library itself contains every scrap of knowledge, every thought of every creature across space and time. The books, parchment, and scrolls are bound within chains of magical fire, row upon row, shelf upon shelf, of all knowledge stretching into the infinite recesses of Tzeentch's lair. Trapped within the shifting labyrinth of impossible fortress, countless pink horrors and blue horrors crawl over the library, tending to the books as a mad gardener might tend to a sprawling mess of weeds and thorns. The grimoires chatter to their keepers, using their voices to trap the horrors in webs of deceit and scandal, so that the demons eventually fade away and hidden library absorbs their energy. Tzeentch is the most bizarre of the chaos gods. His skin causes a constant change of faces that leer and mock those who dare look upon him. As Tzeentch speaks, these faces repeat his words with subtle differences of intonation, providing a mocking commentary that casts doubt upon the original words. Tzeentch's puckered face is formed from his torso, so his head and body are one. From above Tzeentch's burning eyes spring two sweeping horns, the spiraling extremities which crackle with arcane fire. Tzeentch is the changer of waves, the great conspirator, the architect of fate for the universe. He takes great delight in plotting and politicking of others, and favours the cunning over the strong, and the manipulative over the violent. None of Tzeentch's connotations are simple, and indeed are often contradictory, for he aspires to nothing except internal trickery and artifice. In Tzeentch's eyes, mortal creatures are immeasurably steeped in deceit and ambiguity, yet somehow pass their daily lives completely unaware of the countless contradictions and blemishes in their souls. Tzeentch can't help but to dabble in the mortal realm, sometimes as part of the great game against his brother gods, more often to satisfy his own need to meddle, manipulate, and control. Tzeentch is not above sullying his hands with the clamour of war, though he much prefers to win battles through guile and devastating sorcery than brute force. Trapped within his own ineffable force, Tzeentch has no goals or aims other than weaving complex schemes. While one mortal lies, while envy and ambition survive, Tzeentch will work his magic as a puppet master of the universe. I think that's quite interesting because we actually get a description of Tzeentch himself as well. We got, and it's more of a change of ways. It's far more, well, not ambiguous. The opposite of ambiguous. We had more metaphorical, and where this is very apt description of what he looks like. The horns, the faces, and the fact that Tzeentch pretty much does resemble the warp itself, but it's ever changing, but no laws really matter, no physical laws, all of that just goes out the window, and Tzeentch is very much that way. And Tzeentch is again one of my favourite gods, and he doesn't actually have anyone guarding his labyrinth. Well, there is the guardian of the maze. I will be doing that one shortly. But yeah, Tzeentch is very hard to describe, I'd say. He's a contradiction, like the warp. Everything and nothing exists again. And that's the way you got to look at Tzeentch. And how he, if you look at the Horus Heresy, how he manipulated Magnus from the start without Magnus even realising he was being manipulated. I'm often of the theory that it is actually Tzeentch's schemes to have the Emperor on the Golden Throne, because his perpetuality would make him alive again. He would survive the wounds Horus survived on him, acted upon him, I should say, and therefore he would have come back. Having him on the Golden Throne means he cannot come back. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I enjoyed that one. That's quite interesting. I like Tzeentch. He's very much a very interesting god, even though his Space Marines aren't that interesting in their models. Only 2 different types. And that's about it. Well, again, thank you for watching. I hope you like this one. Like, comment and subscribe. As always, doing that notification. And I'll see you all again very soon. Links to Forbidden Planet and Element Games for 25% off on your Warhammer is down below. Well, that's for Element Games, not Forbidden Planet. Forbidden Planet is about comics and stuff. And that's about it. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you all again soon. Hello and welcome to more stories from the Warp. And today we're looking at the Maze of Tzeentch. I'm going to be pronouncing that way because both T's are silent. The Maze of Tzeentch. Tzeentch is the god of change and the master of sorcery. His realm is woven from the raw fabric of magic, threaded upon the deceit and conspiracy of all outlandish landscapes.